Hold on, stay strong. We can feel the right time coming for Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza. In every love story that captures the hearts of millions, there comes a moment of waiting, a season where everything feels quiet, uncertain, and slow. For fans of Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza, that season has lasted for years. And yet, despite the silence, despite the distance, one message continues to echo among those who believe. Kapit lang. Maging matatag. Hold on. Stay strong. Because deep in the hearts of fans, there is a feeling that something is shifting, something is coming. The Tamong Panahan is near. A story that never truly left. The story of Alden and Maine, known to millions as Aldub, was never just about killing moments or viral fame. It was about connection. It was about two people who, in the most unexpected way, brought joy, laughter, and hope into countless homes. From their first interactions on Eat Balaga to the unforgettable days of Kalyeserye, their journey felt real. Fans didn't just watch, they felt every glance, every smile, every silent moment filled with meaning. And even when the noise faded, the connection never truly disappeared. It stayed, quietly living in memories, in late-night replays, in conversations that begin with, "Do you remember that moment?" The season of waiting. Time passed. Life moved forward. Alden and Maine followed their own paths, growing as individuals, exploring new opportunities, and building lives beyond the love team that once defined a generation. For some, it felt like an ending. But for many fans, it felt like a pause. A waiting season. Because real stories, the ones that truly matter, don't always end loudly. Sometimes they simply take time. Time to grow. Time to heal. Time to become something deeper and more meaningful than before. And in that waiting, fans learned something powerful. Love doesn't always demand presence. Sometimes it chooses patience. Why fans still believe. Despite the years, despite the changes, fans continue to hold on, not out of denial, but out of faith. Faith in what Alden and Maine once showed the world. A connection that felt genuine, effortless, and rare. They continue to root for them not because they are stuck in the past, but because they see how both have grown, stronger, wiser, more grounded. They see two individuals who have faced life with grace, who have matured in their own ways, and who still carry the same sincerity that made people fall in love with them in the first place. And somewhere in that growth, fans feel it. A quiet alignment, a sense that everything is falling into place. The meaning of Tamang Panahon. Tamong Panahan was never just about timing on a show. It became a symbol, a belief that the right things happen when they are meant to, not when they are rushed. And maybe, just maybe, this is what the journey has been about all along. Not a rushed story. Not a forced reunion. But a path guided by growth, purpose, and perfect timing. Because when something is real, it doesn't fade. It waits. It evolves. It finds its way back, stronger, deeper, and more meaningful than before. A quiet hope rising. Today, fans feel something different. It's in the way people talk about Alden and Maine again. It's in the excitement that quietly builds with every mention, every appearance, every small connection that reminds everyone of what once was, and what could still be. It's not loud. It's not overwhelming. But it's there. A gentle, growing hope. The kind that whispers, maybe we're getting closer. Holding on together. Being a fan of Alden and Maine has never been just about watching. It's about believing. Believing in growth. Believing in sincerity. Believing that some stories are worth waiting for. And so fans continue to hold on, not with pressure, not with demands, but with quiet strength. Supporting Alden in his journey. Cheering for Maine in hers. Respecting their paths while still carrying a small, hopeful light in their hearts. Because that's what real support looks like. The story isn't over. Maybe the future holds a reunion. Maybe it holds a simple moment that brings everything full circle. Or maybe it unfolds in a way no one expects. But one thing remains certain. This story isn't over. Because as long as people remember, as long as hearts still believe, and as long as hope continues to grow, the journey of Alden and Maine lives on. And so, we wait. With hope. Kapit lang. Maging matatag. These words are no longer just encouragement. They are a promise. A reminder that good things take time, and the most beautiful stories are often the ones that unfold slowly. And somewhere between the past that made us smile and the future we continue to imagine, we feel it. The right time. The Tamong Panahan. Sparkles, and when it finally comes, it won't just be a moment. It will be a story reborn, shared once again by two hearts and the millions who never stopped believing. Sparkles. In the quiet, something grows. What many people don't realize is that not all powerful stories are loud. Not all meaningful moments happen under bright lights or in front of cameras. Some of the most important chapters are written in silence. And perhaps this is where Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza are now, in that quiet space where growth happens, where hearts learn, and where life prepares something greater than what has already been seen. Fans may not always see it, but they feel it. In every milestone Alden achieves, there is pride. In every step Maine takes, there is admiration. And in between those separate journeys, there is still a thread, invisible but unbroken, connecting them to each other and to the millions who continue to believe. More than just a love team. Aldub has always been more than a love team. It became a symbol of hope. A reminder that something beautiful can come from the most unexpected beginnings. A story that showed how genuine moments can touch lives in ways no script ever could. And that kind of story doesn't just disappear. It transforms. It grows into something deeper, something that doesn't rely on daily appearances or constant updates, but instead lives in the hearts of those who experienced it. The fans who never let go. Through the years, fans have changed too. They've grown older. They've faced their own challenges. They've moved forward in life. But somehow, they still carry a piece of Aldub with them. Not as something they're holding onto out of the past, but as something that continues to inspire them in the present. Because Alden and Maine didn't just entertain them. They gave them moments of joy during hard days. They gave them something to believe in when life felt uncertain. And that kind of impact doesn't fade. A future still unwritten. There's something incredibly special about a story that doesn't have a fixed ending. No final scene. No closing line. Just an open path. Waiting. Will Alden and Maine cross paths again in a way that surprises everyone? Will there be a moment, simple or grand, that brings everything full circle? No one knows for sure. But maybe that's what makes it beautiful. Because in that uncertainty, there is possibility. In that silence, there is anticipation. And in that waiting, there is hope. A gentle reminder to believe. So to every fan who has ever smiled because of them, to everyone who still feels that quiet spark of hope, this is your reminder. You don't have to rush the story. You don't have to force an ending. Some things are meant to unfold naturally, at the right time, in the right way. And when that moment comes, it will feel right. Not because it was expected, but because it was meant. And maybe, just maybe one day, without warning, there will be a moment, a glance, a shared smile, a scene that feels all too familiar, yet beautifully new. And in that moment, everything will make sense. The waiting, the silence, the years, because it led to something real. Until then, we hold on. We stay strong. We believe, quietly, patiently, wholeheartedly. Because some stories don't need constant noise to stay alive. They live in memories. They grow in silence. They return when the time is right. And until that day comes, The hearts that once believed will continue to believe, knowing that somewhere, somehow, the story of Alden and Maine is still being written, one beautiful chapter at a time. And when the time finally comes, one day, it won't feel like waiting anymore. It won't feel like longing or wondering or hoping from afar. It will simply feel right. Maybe it will be in a simple moment, not grand, not planned, not even expected. A quiet reunion, a shared laugh, a look that says more than words ever could. And in that moment, everything the fans held onto, every memory, every prayer, every what if, will gently fall into place. Because the truth is, the story of Alden Richards and Maine Mendoza was never meant to be rushed. It was never meant to be forced into an ending just to satisfy the world. It was always meant to be felt. A love that lives beyond the screen. What they created together didn't end when the cameras stopped rolling. It lives on, in the smiles of fans who still rewatch their moments, in the quiet joy of remembering, and in the hearts that never stopped believing in something pure and genuine. It's no longer just about what people see. It's about what people carry with them. And that kind of connection doesn't fade. The beauty of their journey. Maybe the real Tamong Panahan isn't just one big moment. Maybe it's every small step that led them here. Every lesson learned apart. Every dream they chased individually. Because sometimes, distance doesn't end a story. It prepares it for something deeper. Something more meaningful. A sweet ending. Or a new beginning. So as we look at where Alden and Maine are today, there's no need for sadness, no need for doubt. Only gratitude. Gratitude for the laughter they gave. Gratitude for the memories they created. Gratitude for a story that continues to live, even in silence. And maybe that's the sweetest part of all. That their journey doesn't need a loud ending to be beautiful. Because in the hearts of those who believed, it already has a perfect place. Forever in the hearts of many. Kapit lang. Maging matatag. Those words were never just for the waiting. They were for the believing. And as time moves forward, one thing remains certain. Some stories don't end. They simply rest, grow, and quietly wait for the right moment to bloom again. And when that moment comes, whether big or small, loud or quiet, it will feel like coming home.